In this video I'm going to review the specialty dining on board the beautiful Regal Princess. Although these restaurants are also common on other Princess ships. And the first restaurant I'm going to try is the Italian Sabatini's. It's located on deck 5 of the ship, and when we arrive we are quickly shown to our table by the very helpful maitre d'. And if you don't have a specialty dining package, it would cost $55 per person to eat here. And there's also an 18% service charge to be added on top of that. And also be aware that some of the items do incur a further surcharge. Although this is for a 5-course meal, so you're not going to be leaving here hungry. And feel free to pause the video if you'd like to study the menu further. The bread service came out first with a couple of different choices, along with olive oil and balsamic vinegar to dip the bread in. I had the insalata mista to begin, which was mixed greens, charred pear, radish, arugula and orange segments, which was lovely and light. And then I went for the arancini al tartufo, which is a fried rice ball scented with truffle and covered in a tomato and herb marinara. And inside is mozzarella cheese. This was a great way to start off the meal. For my antipasti course, I went with the chef's version panzanella, which is toasted croutons, alien tomatoes, basil, olives and extra virgin olive oil. And then the chef has added some grilled shrimp to this Tuscan classic. My other half started off with the Tuscan ribollita soup, which was tomato and cannellini beans, followed by the cold meat, cheese and olive salad. For my pasta course, I went with the lobster tortellini. This was perfect for me, as both pasta and lobster are some of my favourite things to eat, and the sauce was out of this world. While my other half went for the porcini mushroom risotto. She said that she really enjoyed the deep flavour of this dish. And for her main, she went with the grilled strip loin, which attracted a $20 surcharge, and while she said it was really nice, it probably wasn't worth the additional money. And for my main course, I went for the lasagna polonaise al forno. I've had a fair few lasagnas in my time, but this was the tallest, the thickest, and probably the most delicious lasagna I've ever had. If you're coming to Sabatini's, I highly recommend this dish. And now it's time to take a look at the fabulous dessert menu. And there's also a choice of after dinner cocktails, coffees, and spirits and liqueurs. I went for the Sabatini masala, which was like a light custard with fresh berries. This tasted very sweet and had quite a frothy texture. While my other half decided to go for the chef's special, which was a small portion of all 4 desserts: the roscia, the tiramisu, the vanilla panna cotta and the Sabatini masala. The Crown Grill is Princess's signature steakhouse, and on the Regal Princess it's located on deck 7. And I really liked how all the dark wood panelling made this restaurant nice and cosy. The cover charge to dine here is $55 plus an 18% gratuity. And if you'd like a second main, then that will incur an additional cost of another $20. There's a choice of appetizers, followed by soup and salad. And there are then some other mains and a salt selection. Our waiter informed us that some people take the salt selection very seriously. And for the mains there's a choice of chops, steaks and sides. But do be careful when choosing, as quite a few incur an additional surcharge. And finally there were 5 different desserts to choose from. First of all, out came the bread service, which had 3 different types of bread. And while the bread was really tasty, I didn't want to fill myself up and spoil the rest of the meal. I decided to choose something slightly different for my starter, and I went with a blue iceberg salad, which came with applewood smoked bacon, heirloom tomatoes and blue cheese dressing. This was a nice and light start to my meal. While my other half went for the black and blue onion soup, which came with a delicious Roquefort cheese crust. For my main course, I went with the 4 Sixes Ranch 7-ounce filet mignon, and our waiter brought out one each of all of the sides, which were the Idaho baked potatoes, creamed spinach, grilled asparagus, sautéed mushrooms, red skin mashed potatoes and parmesan fries. For a main, my other half went for the 9-ounce New Zealand double lamb chops, which she said were really succulent. And this is how my filet looked when I added all the sides to the plate. I've got absolutely no complaints about my main course, the sides are great and the filet was absolutely fantastic. The meat was cooked exactly how I liked it and it would just melt on the tongue. While my other half finished her meal off with an espresso, I went for the apple and rhubarb cobbler, which came with blueberry drizzle and vanilla ice cream. I had a great meal at the Crown Grill and the service here was excellent. If you love steak, then this is definitely the place to come. Alfredo's is regarded as serving some of the best pizza at sea. And you can go and see the chefs creating the pizzas for yourself. The last time I was on a Princess ship, the cost of Alfredo's was included within the cruise fare. So if you don't have either the Princess Plus or Premier dining package, to dine here will cost $14.99 per person plus an 18% gratuity. And if you'd just like to have pizza or pasta, it'll be $8.50 again plus the gratuity. And along with the classic pizzas that have always been available at Alfredo's, Princess have added something new to the mix. Which is a selection of new pizzas by American chef and restaurateur Tony Geminani. And as he was the 13-time World Pizza Champion, you'd know that I'll be trying some of his pizzas, which are also available a la carte for $12 each. For my starter, I went with a delicious minestrone soup, which was packed with vegetables. While my other half started off her meal with the antipasto, which had cold meats, cheeses, artichoke heart and sun-dried tomatoes. And then she went for the Tony Geminani honey pie pizza, which was topped with calabrese peppers, mozzarella, parmigiano, green onions, applewood smoked bacon and fried onions. Although it was the hot honey that really made this pizza, as the sweetness of the honey worked really well with the saltiness of the meat and the cheese. And I knew straight away I was going to go for the Tony Geminani New Yorker pizza. It had 2 types of meat, pepperoni and sausage, and 3 types of cheese, mozzarella, ricotta and romano. Along with some herbs and Tony's tomato sauce, this pizza was out of this world. I enjoyed the original pizzas at Alfredo's, but this new menu was something else. I tried a slice of my brother's margherita pizza, but unfortunately it couldn't quite compare to the previous 2. But it was nice that we could share our slices of pizza so we could try what the other flavours were like. And for my dessert, I went with the crostata de mele della nonna. It's an apple tart with apricot jam and a vanilla sauce. This just tasted so rich and creamy. While my other half really enjoyed the classic tiramisu. And finally, we're back in the Crown Grill, this time not for steak, but for the pop-up Crab Shack. The cost to dine here was once again $55 plus the additional 18% gratuity. And on my cruise, this was only available once at lunchtime and on a sea day. And I ate here with my lovely mum so we could share the seafood bucket for 2. and I'll leave a link here to the video I made of my full dining experience at the Crab Shack. It really was a fantastic experience. The appetizer was popcorn, shrimp and hush puppies in a basket. And this was then followed by clam chowder, which came in a sourdough bread roll. And inside there were obviously clams along with bacon, potatoes, leeks, herbs, cream and chives. And while this was very tasty, it was also thick and filling, so I didn't want to have too much before my main course. This is the piece de resistance, the seafood bucket for two. Featuring lobster tails, crab's legs, shrimp, mussels and clams, this really was a sight to behold. I'm still not sure if this was the right plan, but what I did was take all of the meat from the shells and then just left that separate. And I think I did a pretty good job. I got most of the meat out. This is what the end result looked like, a true seafood lover's dream. All there was left to do was to dip the seafood into one of the three sauces, which were brandy cocktail, horseradish cocktail and mignonette. And to round off the meal, we went with a couple of desserts. There was strawberry shortcake and key lime pie in a jar. Overall, I felt the standard of the food at the specialty dining was excellent. My one complaint would be value for money, because the price of dining at these restaurants has doubled in the last 3 years. And in an upcoming video, I'm going to review all the complimentary dining options on board, where I'll be showing the fantastic food that's available for free in the main dining rooms, and where you can get free pizza, which is nearly as good as Alfredo's. If you've enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't done so already, please consider subscribing with the notification bell on. I'll have many more cruise videos to come.